So let's begin.
Please meet.
Ready?
Coffee with Karan.
Coffee with Preet, yeah. Coldplay ticket.
What?
Give now
Yeah.
Coldplay.
Okay. Chalo.
Question: if you weren't doing events, what would you be doing?
I'd probably be. Okay, sorry. Again.
Please don't forget that. ये मेरा लास्ट ही हमेशा 5 बार मैं करती हूँ. लास्ट टाइम भी मैंने 10 बार किया होगा. Welcome back to GTC Curated Bites. I'm Preet Sanghvi, aka Chubby Guzzler, the food curator and founder of Gourmet Tales Co. In this podcast, we are exploring the different facets of food, events, and all the incredible creative minds behind this. And as for me, a fun fact: I've studied 36 different world cuisines, traveled to 35 plus countries, explored and done food trails for probably more than 20 countries, and at the same time, I've curated F&B experiences for 50 plus events. So food is my language. And that's why today we're going to dive into the world of festivals and events. As we say, these are stories on a plate worth sharing. So let's dive into the second episode of GTC Curated Bites. So what do Bakari NH7 Weekender, Lollapalooza, YouTube Fan Fest, and Coldplay have in common? It's not the company or the promoters. It's Rashi Sanghvi. Well, she's the creative lead, business manager, and mastermind behind some of India's biggest festivals and events. She serves as a festival director for these iconic platforms. She's known in the experiential circuit to manage large format shows flawlessly that proudly put India on the global map. And just to clarify, even though we share the same surname, we are not related. So there's no nepotism out here. But yes, we've been childhood friends, and I owe a lot to her because it was Rashi who actually inspired me to start GTC back in 2018. Back then, she was serving as the experiential head at Bakari NH7 Weekender, and she helped inspire me to dive into the world of food curation. She may be small, but her impact is enormous. We call her Chota Packet Bada Dhamaka for a reason. She's the brains and hands behind some of India's most iconic festivals and events. And I can't wait to dive into this incredible journey with you, Rashi. So, welcome, Rashi.
Hello.
But let's start with a very trending question for you right now. Guess what?
Coldplay tickets.
So, Rashi, before we dive into all this podcast fun, quick question. What's your drink of choice for this podcast? Is it tea, coffee, or something more fancy so we can have that arranged for you?
I'd probably go for something fancy. Can I get a hot chocolate, please?
Sure. So I'm obsessed with creating food experiences that connect people, may it be at music festivals or at curated events. So let's talk about Rashi's journey and how she's transformed the Indian festival scene. So Rashi, you've grown from being a retail and experiential designer to running some of India's largest festivals, and that's no small feat. So tell us what led you from designing to becoming the mastermind behind these iconic festivals.
I think when I was designing all the festivals, I was probably like bound to a room. I was in my laptop. I was just doing a lot of research. But I think what happened is that I started attending a lot of festivals, a lot of events, and I started traveling a lot. So what helped me is that I started understanding what exactly do the customers need, how are people reacting to things. When they're walking into a festival, what is it that they want? Like, what is it that I would want if I'm going to attend a festival? I think that's what kind of got me going and moved me from just being designer to creating that experience and thinking about what exactly would probably work for the festivals. I think what also is important is that to understand how you can apply ideas and like actually translate it to on ground, and that's what was something that got me interested in this space. It kind of keeps me going because every day is a challenge. Every day there is something new that will come up, and then you have to take a call, but you have to keep on thinking of how can you take a call in a more effective and creative way. So I think that kind of process led me to just like moving through life.
And you know what's fascinating is that how you've taken your design background and years of experience and applied it to running these festivals. So, what kind of skills do you think are required or have been crucial for your growth to become such a successful festival director?
I think three things would be probably under the umbrella would be like observation, consideration, and maybe creativity. Because observation is like it just entails everything where you need to observe what people are doing, what people want, what people how people are reacting. So I think that comes under the observation part of it. Consideration is of course where what is it that you would want to do, right? Like what is it that you as a promoter or as a organizer would want to provide, and you consider everything. You don't rule out certain things because you don't want it. You need to consider everything that's probably required for putting everything together. So that's the other thing. And I think creativity, of course, the word says it for itself, but I think creativity is important because the trends nowadays are changing so quickly, and every day there is something or the other that's coming up, right? Like today I launch a ticket, tomorrow that person forgets that this was announced and something else comes up. So I think creativity, like you've got to be creative, you have to engage people, you have to do something that they will probably recall. So I think that is probably like the third leg that for me would be important.
And it's incredible to hear all of this because I've actually seen you implement all of these throughout all the events that we've also done together. And I know, the kind of hard work that you put in behind all these events. As much as people do think that this field is very glamorous, I'm sure it's long hours and a lot of high pressure and constant decision making. I think that's really, really important and something that I'm sure you must be facing all the time.
Yeah, totally. I think it's like literally an everyday challenge, right? I think from the time when the concept is built, from the time when you get the brief, from the time when the idea is kind of planted to the actual execution of it, it's not like it happens overnight, definitely not, but it takes a lot to align all the stars. And you're not just aligning your stars, you're aligning the stars of all the people who are going to be at the event, right? Like it's every department. It's say it's production, it's design, it's ticketing, it's food.
Yeah.
So everyone just needs to align, and the vision that needs to align is very important. So if you're working towards something, you're not working in isolation because you want just the food to like do well. I think what's important is that you're working towards the event doing really well, and then the food part is a part of that.
Yeah, that's actually quite
Yeah.
important.
That's
So now let's talk about something I'm really passionate about, and that's food. So F&B has been an integral part of festivals, and it's more than just providing meals, right? And it's amazing to see how it's actually enhancing the entire experience of a festival, and how now events are actually prioritizing having more F&B offerings, which actually stand out. So from your perspective, Rashi, how has the food and beverage scene evolved over the years in the entire events experience right now?
I think earlier when we were probably kids, food was basically like a necessity, right? Like you're going to a movie theater, वहाँ पे popcorn मिलेगा. It's a necessity, and I think now what is happening is that with the way cultures like evolved, with the way events have like come into the picture, um, a lot of global experiences are also coming to India. But what makes India probably really stand out now is the kind of uh, experience that you're providing and the conversations that kind of come out of it, right? So food is no more now a necessity. It's probably like an experience, but then yes, the experience is there, but what about like also talking about those experiences, and what is it that you want people to talk about the experiences, right? So I think what you guys also do, like what GTC kind of comes and like does at probably Lola or any other festival, is also creating these opportunities to create conversations, which help probably festivals to also retain and like maybe there's a person who is kind of looking forward to attend that festival. Oh, because like, hey, the food over there is really great. So I think that's something that like we want to work towards, and everyone should. It's not just like us, but I think food has become very important at all these festivals. I think the other part of the side of this side is that even artists, like there are a lot of global artists who are now coming to India, and they have this kind of expectation because they've heard about like India being like really good with their food experiences and everything. but it's there on the streets, and how do you kind of bring that into experience that you are creating, right?
Right.
It's there in different parts of the country, but how do you then bring it to the festival? So I think a lot of artists are also looking forward to coming to festivals that actually think about that process. The other thing is also the catering, probably. Like
Yeah.
they like eating good food. We also try to give them what they want, but I think it's also with adding a little bit of the Indian spices to it or Indian flavors to it, so that they get a little bit of a taste of India when they are over here. So it kind of stands out of away from like the other events that they probably are like touring with. So I think these are the two sides of it that is really important. Um, I don't know if it's important, but like also the crew. I think crew is also like, I mean, they're working all day long.
You
There's
need to feed them
long hours. Yeah,
first, yeah.
exactly. I mean, long hours of working, right? So, what is it that like they would expect? Probably have like a tuck shop or like some sort of an added-on experience. We have like a dosa counter now
Yeah.
at every event. So, I think that is something that like we try to work towards. So it's all the aspects that we're covering, right? Because food is everywhere. It's a necessity, but then it's also then a experience.
And honestly, I think having attending so many festivals myself, just not in India but abroad as well, may it be in Dubai, in Australia, in the US as well, I can now vouch that the Indian hospitality scene has actually created a benchmark as compared to any
100%.
of the global festivals that I've attended. So I think there's just so much scope in out here to get into the entire experience bit of a festival.
I think it's always like business, business, business for a
Yeah.
lot of international festivals. But for India, it's obviously business. I mean, it's not like it's not. But then because we're so rich in culture,
Yeah.
is that we're able to kind of provide the experience that kind of builds that business, right? So, and that is exactly how probably an Indian version of any international festival would stand out and like make
Yeah.
its mark in a way.
Yeah, so may it be your Japanese cuisine to,
Yeah.
your Italian to Chinese to Lebanese. I think India has it all, and we do, I feel, have the capability of putting that forward into an event. So, all right, Rashi, now it's time for a fun challenge. We have a little tradition here at the GTC Curated Bites where we do a fun tasting of a new product with our guests, something that a brand has sent us. But
Okay.
the twist out here is we are not going to tell you what it is. You have to tell us your honest opinion about this dish and tell us whether you think it would probably fit into any event. And give us your honest opinion because I think every palate is different here.
Okay, let's go. Thank you.
Go for it. So, what do you think, Rashi?
I think it's great. It's just, I mean, the puri is like super crispy. The spices are intertwined over here. This also reminds me of school where the chaat bhaiya used to like put
Oh,
the
yeah.
sukha chutney in it. So I think it's just nostalgia also. Um, but I think the veggies are also like super fresh along with it. So that's why I picked the onion after that. But yeah, I think it's not very spicy and it's fun.
So, now it's time for a little rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you 5 quick questions and you have to answer with the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay,
We might just have a coffee hamper for you. So, let's begin.
please meet
Ready?
Coffee with Karan.
Coffee with Preet, yeah. But yeah. So, question 1. What's your go-to comfort food during stressful festival planning? Quick, Rashi, quick.
You can cut it, right? It's fine.
No!
Um, stressful
You're losing
food
it.
would be a burger.
If you could organize a festival anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Anywhere in the world?
Yeah.
Shillong.
Okay. What's your all-time favorite moment at a festival?
When you're standing, like when the band goes live, you're on your last 3 songs. Like the third last song is that moment because pretty much everything is done and sorted. However, we are planning for egress. But when you're standing in the pit, you're looking at the lights, you're watching that act, and it's all just come together. I think that moment is priceless.
Now, a fun story where something went wrong behind the scenes.
A lot of things. Everything can go wrong. I think just being prepared is important. But there was a time when we were building a second festival because we were facing some issues because we were very close to the airport and we had to consider certain restrictions. And we literally had to build a second festival while we were building one festival. I think that was the most stressful time ever.
So last question. If you weren't doing events, what would you be doing?
Probably be traveling and attending more concerts and events, or more festivals. But yeah, that was
Okay, so great. Thank you, Rashi, for this not so rapid but fireful session.
okay. Thank you. I hope I did well.
So, Rashi, as someone who's known you for so long, I know you've always been called like the small packet, bada dhamaka person, and for a good reason, of course. But I'm sure it comes with a lot of pressure, right? And what does this success mean to you, your family, and your closed ones? And how do you think their reaction has, shaped your journey?
I think my parents have always been very supportive. So has my granddad. Very supportive through the journey. I've worked like long hours. They're not cribbing or crying about it. But I think what eventually happens is when, like, my husband, my parents are attending my events. They're when I buy a ticket for them, and when they're actually like standing in front of the stage and like watching the show or the product that I'm putting together, it feels more like an open day. It's like as if there's a report card that's been like offered to my parents, and then they're just like judging me that ways. But they've been super supportive in every aspect, every day. They always encourage me. They always are there to hear me out. I don't think I have a lot of stress per se because a lot of it is something that they kind of take it away from me. Um, in terms of like success metrics, if you're saying, I think the fact that I can work and spend enough time with my family is probably like the success matrix for me, and just having like a good time.
And I think I've literally seen your parents at every
Yeah.
event and festival of yours
Yeah.
over the years. I've seen her parents, her husband attend all events, even if it doesn't
Including
vibe.
my granddad.
Yeah.
My granddad has attended a nuclear concert
Yeah.
with me at NSCI Dome. Like, I mean, that was like epitome of probably doing this work.
And it's actually so touching to see this. Every time I see her parents, honestly, I get very inspired. Even if they don't match with the entire vibe of the festival, they're just there to support
Yeah.
her, and they're just looking at her. Even if they don't meet her in the entire festival because she's always running around,
Yeah.
they are just so proud of her, and of course, so am I. So before we wrap up, where do you see the festival and events industry heading in the next 5 years? And are there any, major trends or big ideas you think that will shape the future of this industry?
I mean, I think if the pandemic wasn't there, we would have already been in year 5. But in terms of trends, I think music is obviously like the biggest. But what is also happening is a lot of people are also looking for experiences beyond music. I think just general culture is building. A lot of people are adaptive to newer experiences, like probably theater. Now there's sports, there's exhibitions, and comedy. So a lot of that is also kind of trending, and I think in the next 5 years we'll probably be as big as we are in the music space in all of these experiences, right?
So I'm so excited actually to see where this is heading. And Rashi, you've already done so much, and I just can't wait to see what more is yet to come. At
A
least,
lot.
like not just with events, but also with you.
We're just getting started.
So, Rashi, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your journey with us. It's been really inspiring, and I'm sure our viewers are also feeling very motivated and excited after this episode. You've been a key part of not just my journey, but a lot of events and festivals. But I'm just so proud not to just call you my friend, but also a mentor in so many ways. So thank you for that. And of course, you're a chota bomb and bada dhamaka for the entire world. So this is just a small GTC curated hamper
Yeah, I feel like celebrity
for
now.
you. Yeah. So hopefully you like
Thank
it,
you.
and it has all curated stuff from my travels around the world, and hopefully you like it. So yeah, thank you, Rashi.
I'm excited to open this.
So that's it for today's GTC Curated Bites episode. Thank you for watching and do subscribe and leave us a review. And remember that festivals, just like food, create memories that last a lifetime. So see you guys next time. Till then, let's create memories.